to show off, we thought it'd be good if we showed you some footage of Bruce Dyer in action, and then we'll hand over to the man himself. Enjoy.
Putting it over, but Watford went 2 up, courtesy of a young man named Bruce Dyer. His emergence was to be one of the highlights of Watford's season. He got his opportunity, and his left foot was as sweet as you like. And an extraordinary second half followed. Hessenthaler's header, and the goalkeeper dropped it. Bruce Dyer from Watford, suddenly for the first time in the match, saw luck spin their way. Bruce Dyer, splendid strike, and they led 4-3. Watford, suddenly for the first time in the match, saw luck spin their way. Bruce Dyer, splendid strike, and they led 4-3. Another long free kick, and again the Luton defence looking and trying to see what's on. And I'll tell you what's on, a second Watford goal for Bruce Dyer. Trevor Peake looks across at Jurgen Sommer, and he looks across as if to say, where did he come from? That's beautifully knocked on. Now Dyer, the goalkeeper's got to make his mind up. Dyer, and beautifully taken. Jurgen Sommer looks in despair, and Dyer celebrates. That's the perfect start. At the moment, Birmingham are chasing shadows towards the edge of their area, as Dyer comes on his way again. Now can he knock the cross in? He can! Oh, Furlong! Number 9. And even the fans rejoice. Now Dyer, can he finish it? He can! And that's the perfect finale from the crackerjack youngster.
Hey, how you doing, guys? Good evening to you that are going to tune in. Good evening to those that might watch this at a later date. I'm just hoping that tonight's going to encourage someone. That the whole theme of this is, let's love life again. It's been a really difficult, challenging year, I would say, for so many of us. And so first, I want to thank the violence reduction unit who's allowed me to put on some coaching sessions, to do some webinars online, and we've got a few more to do. That hopefully the plan is just to use this really as a way of encouraging young people in a really difficult time, and I've got a real passion and a heart to encourage young people, especially in the area of sports. And so thank you again for the VRC, the Violence Reduction Unit. Thank you to the coaches that have been coaching with me over these last few weeks, prior to us being lockdown number 2, but it's been I'm really grateful to the guys that have helped out. And so I'm just gonna what I'm gonna do is take you some of you've heard my story. I'm gonna go through my story of my life in terms of my football career, and talk about 7 to 8 things that for me really changed my world, had a profound impact. And so I grew up in the East End of London, and so I was I'd probably say about 10. I was playing football at school. I'm playing for my school team. I played for a team called Romford Rolls in Romford, and then I went from Romford Rolls. I played for a team called Grasshoppers in Walthamstow, and it would have been probably around, I'd have been about the age of 13 that I actually got signed or spotted at Watford. I actually got spotted through a friend of mine on my estate. So Martin Treadway, if you're watching, you was the one who recommended me to Watford. Martin lived on my estate. He put my name forward. Ken Brooks come and watch me play for my school, and then for my county, and then I signed as a schoolboy at the age of 13, it would have been. And so I signed at the age of 13. I did 2 years so back then you'd call it like a schoolboy, nowadays you'd call it like an academy player. So I signed when it would have been 13, and then when I was it would have been around about 15. I was actually gonna stop playing football, and we're going to go through, 7 things that were really key, really, really key. And so at the age of 15, I was actually going to stop playing football. And, you know, my key point that I'm going to begin with, one of the reasons why I was going to stop playing football, that it is really, really important that, you choose your friends really, really wisely. And so my first kind of point, I'd say key thing for myself that was really, really crucial. I know not everyone's a Christian. I know not everybody has faith, but there's a Bible verse that makes a lot of sense that, whether you have faith or not, whether you go to church or not, this particular Bible verse, it makes a lot of sense. And I really believe, this point number one, key number one, is really crucial to young people, not just young people, because by the way, guys, these are things that I kind of apply in my life now. I strive to, even I'm 45, and these keys are things that I still strive to try and apply into my life. And there's a Bible verse that just says in 1 Corinthians chapter 15 verse 33, it says, don't be deceived, bad company corrupts good morals. And to simplify it, because there'll be some younger kids that might be watching this, there'll be some adults that will be watching this, okay, that to simplify that, I'm a great believer, and I know this by my own experience, that at the age of 15, I was going to stop playing. And the reason why, I was hanging around with the wrong people. And I'm a great believer, what you look at, what you listen to, what you surround yourself around will influence your life in a positive way or a negative way. I always tell the kids I coach with that your friends and the environment you put yourself in, okay, will tell you a lot about your future. You show me your friends, you show me the people you hang around, you show me your environment, and I could give you a good gauge of what kind of future you're going to have. And so at the age of 15, I was going to stop playing football simply because I was around the wrong people. I was doing the wrong things. So I remember at that time I was going to places where I shouldn't have been going. And it was as if I was being tugged away from my football. And as I've got older, looking back, I've learned the importance of choosing the right friends. I've learned the importance about watching the right things. I have learned the importance about listening to the right things. What you look at, what you listen to, what you put yourself around will have an influence in your life. And so at that time, no disrespect to my friends at the time, but the truth is, some of them might even be watching this. You never know. They know that at that time, some of the things were doing were not good, and I knew that it was not good for me, and I needed to move away. And so I've got kind of like a thing that I always tell kids. You can always remember this. You can always remember this, and I tell myself this all the time. It's as easy as ABC. It's as easy as ABC. Avoid bad company. Choose your friends wisely. Be around people that are like-minded. Be around people that, are going to be positive. Be around people that are doing positive things. Be around people that speak good things. It's as easy as ABC. A stands for avoid. B stands for bad. C stands for company. Avoid bad company. Hang around people that have got vision. Hang around people that want to do good things. Hang around people that have high aspirations, that want to achieve. These things are so important. And so when I was 15, I was gonna stop playing football, but because of my friends, and it was so important for me, that my next key, which was crucial, this was so crucial to me, okay, is teachers and role models. Okay, teachers and role models. It is so important. And so at the age of 15, I was going to stop playing football. But what was really crucial to me at that time was Kenny Jackett, my coach, who, to a lot of young people, I tell kids that that's kind of like your teacher at school. Okay, your teacher. It is so important to find a good role model, And Kenny Jackett was a phenomenal role model for me, because it was at the age of 15 that Kenny Jackett gave me two choices. Okay, Kenny basically said to me, Bruce, Watford are going to offer you an apprenticeship. Nowadays you call it a scholar, but he said to get the scholarship, he said the deal is, he said you're going to have to move into digs, and that digs was moving into another family. So that would mean I'd have to leave home, leave the area where I was living, and move to Watford and kind of restart my life over again. But Kenny was saying to me, Bruce, you've got two choices. You got the choice of, you got an opportunity to get an apprenticeship, or he said you've got that other choice, okay, where if you keep doing what you're doing, he says you and I both know that you're going to get yourself into a lot of trouble. And Kenny was such a good coach to me. He was such a good role model, and it is important in life, kids. I always tell kids when I'm working in schools, you know, find a teacher that you really connect with. Okay, find someone who's a really good role model. It is easy nowadays through biographies, the internet. You know, you can track people, you can trail people, you can follow people, and you can find positive role models, and it's really important. And I put Ian Wright down because I remember, you know, when I was younger. I mean, I'm going forward a little bit, but the reason why I put Ian Wright down, I'll never forget this. I remember when obviously I became the first £1 million teenager, and I got to meet Ian Wright, and I never forget when Ian Wright, he gave me his telephone number, and he said, look, if you ever need any advice, a bit of encouragement, you know, there's my number, call me. And I always had a lot of respect for Ian, and the reason why I had a lot of respect for Ian, because Ian had a bit of a bad start. He had a bit of a bad start, but through dedication, through hard work, and some of the things I'm going to talk about tonight, that, you know, he went on to have a phenomenal career, and he always looked out for younger players. You know, he really did. I'll never forget it. He gave me his number. You know, he said, if you ever need a chat, you ever need encouragement, advice, you know, give us a call. And that meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to me, and it's important. You know, even to this day, listen, even as an adult, I'm 45 years of age, and I still look for role models. I still look for positive people. And so one of the role models in my life now is a guy called Peter Amos. Peter Amos is like my spiritual father. He's the chaplain of Barnsley Football Club. You know, Pete's been in my life now for the last, 19 years, and he's such a positive influence. He gives me good advice. He gives me great encouragement. And so it is important to find good role models. It is really important that you find a teacher that you connect with at school. It really does. It has an impact. Kenny Jackett's instructions, Kenny Jackett's words of encouragement, Kenny Jackett's support to me was crucial to me becoming a professional footballer. And it don't matter who you are in life. It doesn't matter who you are in life. You need help. You will never just succeed on your own. I don't know anybody that succeeded on their own. Everybody needs a helping hand from somebody. But the key and this key point is finding the right teacher, the right coach, and the right role model. It makes all the difference in life. And my next point is this: not only is it important to find the right role models, the right coach, okay, but obeying instructions. Okay, there's no good in finding a good coach and a good teacher and a good role model if we're not prepared to listen. And that is one of the things I had to learn to do really, really fast, was to be humble and learn to listen. When Kenny Jackett gave me information, I listened and I obeyed his instructions. And I never forget when Kenny first said to me, Bruce, for you to get your apprenticeship, nowadays you call it a scholarship, he said, for you to get that, you're gonna have to leave home. Now at that time, guys, my mum and dad had just got divorced. I'm a mummy's boy. My mum's watching this. Mum, you know I'm a mummy's boy. I love my mum, and it was a big thing for me to leave home. I mean, when Kenny first said that to me, my initial response was, I ain't never leaving my mum. No chance. I'm never leaving my friends. I was adamant. But I had a decision to make, that someone who was a positive influence, who was a really good coach, gave me some instructions, but then I had a decision to make. Am I going to listen? Okay. Or am I not going to listen? And life I'm telling you, the instructions that we listen to, okay, can make us or they can break us. And that is why it's really important. Again, we avoid bad company so that we hear the right things. That's why it's really, really important that we learn to not only find a coach, the right mentor, okay, the right teacher, but we have to learn to listen. We have to learn to obey instructions. And I've learned this. I'm so grateful to God over the years. I've just learned to listen. Okay, I'm not too big. I'm not too big to take advice, even now that I've got some really positive, influential, I've got some really good people around me that I just listen to. I listen. I'm not too big to take advice. And you never stop learning. I'm telling you, never ever stop learning. And that is why my next key, again, is very, very important. And it's the word knowledge. And this is important. And the definition of knowledge is facts, information, and skills acquired through experience or education. And listen, I'm not just saying this, kids. I left school with no qualifications. One of my regrets, I left school with no qualifications. And growing up, even since retiring from football, there were some things I'd done in my adulthood that I could have done at school. And I cannot encourage kids enough, especially even young footballers, those that are striving to be footballers, those who are young kids who are in their academies. Education is important. It really, really is. Listen, even if you make it as a professional football player, it's a really short career. Okay, it's a short career, and then most people retire when they're 35. They've got a whole load of years left. Okay, and you still need to do something. And so your education is so, so, so important for those that are striving to become professional footballers, even those that, may become footballers, those that are not footballers. Your education, that is one of my biggest regrets, not being more focused at school. And so knowledge is really important. As a footballer, studying the game. Studying the game, watching the game, okay, asking advice, okay, listening to podcasts. Nowadays there is so much things that are available that can give us knowledge. It is important. Knowledge is so important. Knowledge is key. Information makes all the difference. Some people do not succeed in life simply because of a lack of knowledge, because of a lack of information. And listen, for me, this isn't just about sports. That whatever you choose to do in life, okay, smart and intelligent people, they get the right information. They educate themselves. And so I think that's so important, especially because, listen, I've had to learn this, and even now I'm still learning it. Now I still apply it, because even when you're talented and gifted, you will still learn. You can still learn. You can always improve. If you think that you know it all, then you're going to hinder yourself from really being the best you. We never stop learning. That's what I believe. My humble opinion. Okay, we're talking about 7 things that have changed my life. And what 7 things that have changed my life? Getting knowledge has definitely changed my life. Studying the game of football, getting information, picking Kenny Jackett's brains, listening to what he was saying, okay? When I was a boot boy, hanging around the older pros, and when I got that privilege of, when I was even an apprentice, to train with the pros, listening and watching, trying to acquire information. It makes all the difference. Knowledge is a powerful thing. And so my next key, which was really important, and so I went from almost quitting to listening to my coach Kenny Jackett, obeying his instructions. I left home. I used to leave. I used to go home for the weekend and have to go back on a Monday morning. And I remember, I can see my mum now waving at me through the window. I used to leave really early in the morning to meet the kit man who used to take me back into the club. Then I'd go back into digs. And so that 2 years of my apprenticeship was where I was learning. I was getting so much information and a lot of knowledge, a lot of knowledge, a lot of information, taking it on board, but not just taking it on board, okay, but applying it, applying it, applying it, applying it, listening, focusing, taking it on board. And then my next point, which is crucial, which was crucial. And so, guys, this is my life. You know, this is Bruce Dyer's life. This is how I have lived. This is exactly what I've done. Listen, this is what I do to this very day. These 7 to 8 things are things that I strive to apply in my life on a daily, weekly, yearly basis. And by God's grace, I'll be doing it when I'm 80. The same things, God give me strength. And so the next thing, okay, is self-explanatory. We all know this, okay, simply hard work. Listen, guys, I worked so hard. I really did. Because I want to put this out there. And listen, this is facts. This is facts. When I was younger, there were other kids that I believe had more talent than me. Listen, they had more talent. They had more ability than me, in my humble opinion. But I'm telling you now, they didn't have my mindset. I worked so hard. I worked so hard. Now, Kenny Jackett pushed me. He really did. He pushed me. I mean, I can look back now that when we'd be training, he used to call me Flash. And I'd be training and we'd finish training and some of the other lads are walking in, I'll be walking in and he'd whistle and say, Flash, where you going? Like, you're not finished. And I'd think, oh man, Ken, leave me alone. Okay, but Ken used to work me hard. And I got to the point where I embraced it. I embraced working hard. I understood how important it is to work hard. You know, my dad worked so hard. You know, my dad was a real worker. And so I understood how important it is to work hard. And I worked hard. I really did. You know, when we did the running, I wasn't always the fittest. There were players in my team that were more naturally fitter than me. But when it came to the running, I would absolutely give 100%. And I mean 100%. I dug in because I wanted to be the best me. And you will not become the best you if you're not prepared to work hard. And I've put a little illustration as an example. And I remember this, okay? Those of you that may be watching, if you're Crystal Palace fans, you know that this is true. And so in December 2013, Crystal Palace and were bottom of the league, and they were favourites for relegation. I listen, true story. I remember looking that year at the Premier League, thinking, well, I've played at Palace, I've been at Palace. Palace is like a yo-yo club. What Palace would do back then, they get promoted, get relegated, sell the younger players, get promoted, get relegated, and it was like a revolving door, okay? And that happened at Palace for years. And those who are Crystal Palace fans, you know that that's the truth. But this particular year, in December 2013, when Crystal Palace were at the bottom of the league and they were favourites for relegation, and then what happened? I think Tony Pulis came in at around December time. And those that know Tony Pulis is a manager whose teams, they work hard. They're not necessarily the most gifted in terms of talented in skill, but they are grafters. And I remember that season, Palace finished in 11th place in the Premier League, the highest position ever in the club's history, and they retained their Premier League status and have been there since. I mean, like, wow. But that was because of hard work. Hard work, listen, there's no substitute for it. If you are not prepared to graft, if you are not prepared to dig in, I'm telling you, you will not be the best you. And listen, listen, there are some that get away with it. But on a whole in life, if you're not prepared to work hard, I mean, I really did. When I look back, I worked so hard. I'm telling you, I dug in like you would not even imagine. And so what I'm going to do, just to break this up, okay? And so I worked really hard. I dug in so much, okay? And then I ended up making my debut for Watford's first team. When I would have been, at that time, I would have been 18 when I made my debut. And so it was like a substitute. I remember I just trained with the first team first at Watford. I went from training, and then I was a substitute, and I kind of made a substitute appearance, which like was phenomenal. And I was still like I was still a scholar. I was still a young kid, but like that hard work began to pay off. What I'm going to do just to kind of break this up, and so the first video I showed, okay, that was me at Watford. Okay, that was the young Bruce Dyer. Okay, that was right at the beginning. Do you see how thin I looked? Okay, and so to break this up, I'm going to show my next video, okay, some clips of when I was at Palace. Okay, so there's been 3 clubs really that have been really key, I would say key in my career, and that's Watford, Crystal Palace, and obviously everyone knows Barnsley. Okay, so I've got 3 videos to show, kind of just to break this up. And so I'm going to just quickly show 2-3 minute goals video. This was me when I was at Palace. Okay, and then I'm going to carry on with a few more keys, which will take me up to when I got to Palace, when I made my historic move where I became the first teenager to be sold for over £1 million. But I'm going to just stick this video on just to break this up, and I hope you enjoy it.
Operation Salvation, preach Jesus to the nation, over and out. Do me a favor, I ain't no kid, I surrender my life to the Lord, no doubt. I'm about no drought, and I shout so loud, I'm a child of the Lord, no hype, I'm down. I rep now, can't get vexed now, put me to the test now, man, I can't step down. Big day strapped with a big bass, back by my Jesus, trust, that's a big name. Sick mate, ain't got a big chain, got the light of the Lord, man, that's a big change. Insane, ain't got a big brain, but the strength of the Lord made me a big grade. Ain't got big pays, but for flick's sake, God pays me, that's a big wage.
New living, transparent, I can't do hidden. I got a nerve to spread the word, some guys think I'm absurd by the way that I'm spitting. Preach the gospel, that be the mission. I feel like I'm in the passenger seat, the way I'm so driven, cause I gotta let the word go and let the world know that through Christ your sins can be forgiven. So go get 'em for Christ, we go get 'em off fame, our soldier boys, we go tell 'em off A-star, unity. One body stuff, haters, we ain't got time for that. We're on the grind and that, eat Christ, preach Christ in our rhymes and that. We just wanna raise up the Savior, raise up the fact that he's major. So we gotta put in the work, manual, labour.
You wanna ride with a fam, let's go. Wanna fly high as you can, let's go. Wanna get right with a man, let's go. Stand there, tell a man on your marks. Get set, let's go, let's go. Okay.
On to the next step. Still got weight in my hands, but with Christ I'ma push something like bench press. Bring on the weights and bless. Know the flex with Christ the strength. I tell them, they don't wanna listen. They complain that their life is a mess, but that's when we roll up. Preach Christ with faith, we will show up. Make disciples, that's the command. So the gospel's vital, rings an alarm. No hype, brother, we don't want arms. We wanna share what we got, and that's the good news of God. Ah, Jesus, we wanna preach cause he freed us. So no word ever like us, find Christ, he'll bring peace to your side. Trust.
Don't wanna get left, so I walk right. My faith was too weak like a fortnight. My parents had faith in the child, so now you know what it is when I walk by. And I split for the governor. Best know that the kingdom's skanked every time one guy gives his soul. There's only one guy that can multiply my dough. That's Jesus, receive him. One body, repping the kingdom. No time to act like a fake, cause I know he'll talk to me straight when I see him. J vessel for the kingdom. Music's off the hook, can't ring man. I live for the king, it's a blessing. When I split for the Lord, it's a next 10.
You wanna ride with a fam, let's go. Wanna fly high as you can, let's go. Wanna get right with a man, let's go. Stand there, tell a man on your marks. Get set, let's go, let's go. Okay.
Let's go get him. He came to set him free just like us, so they put their trust in him and see it's a must that they rep him as judgment beckons. Put down weapons, repent, believe and be saved in seconds. I hear the words get to step in a judgment, whoa. So God, let's go, J, let's go. A-Maze, pressure and bless you, don't know. Got a flow for the ones that were evil and cold. Who ain't even been told by the peace that we hold. Ain't no surprise, it's a peace they hold. And they go fire, die without Christ and they go fire. But we'll go heaven, so let's go 7 continents and preach Christ with confidence. Let's go, no time to be on the fence.
Let me work from my angle, please, no curtain this. I was at a standstill, hard shoulder, but it's bait, it's my owner who serviced this. My life was paid for a price and it's bait, cause I know it's my owner who purchased this. Prefer to come clean, no dirt in this. I have my ideas, but since he's the one with the plan, I refrain from inserting it. Fine.
Preach Jesus to the nation, over and out. Do me a favor, I ain't no kid, I surrender my life to the Lord, no doubt. I'm about no drought, and I shout so loud, I'm a child of the Lord, no hype, I'm down. I rep now, can't get vexed now, put me to the test now, man, I can't step down. Big day strapped with a big bass, back by my Jesus, trust, that's a big name. Sick mate, ain't got a big chain, got the light of the Lord, man, that's a big change.
guys. Really sorry about that. Don't know what happened there. And so that was my Crystal Palace era, and I'm gonna kind of go on to that. And so I spoke about how important it is to work hard. You know, I really did work hard as a scholar, but another thing that I had to really apply to my life, and I find you know, I get to work with a lot of young people, whether it be in schools, coaching. I'm around a lot of young people, and I do find the younger generation they are a bit different to the old school generation. And the next thing I want to talk about that is really important, okay, is this word perseverance. And my gosh, can I relate to this so much. And so the definition of perseverance, okay, persisting in doing something despite difficulty or delay in achieving success. Okay, persisting in doing something despite difficulty or delay in achieving success. And honest guys, when I was an apprentice at Watford, especially, I remember my first pre-season that I ever did as a young player. And so what would happen back then, we were training probably 2 days a week. We might train 2 days a week, play at the weekend. And obviously when you become an apprentice or a scholar, you start training full time. So you're training 5 days a week, playing at the weekend, then you do pre-season. And honestly, my first pre-season was so difficult, and honestly, if I be honest, I actually wanted to give up, and I had to persevere. I remember going back to my digs, the place where I was staying, and just looking at up to the ceiling and thinking, I don't know how I'm going to last 2 years. This is so hard. Pre-season training is so hard. Kenny Jackett is working us so hard, and I don't know if I can do it. And I had to persevere. Honestly, I had to persevere. There are times when I really felt like giving up. Seriously, I really did. There were times when I felt like giving up. And there was once within my story, I actually did quit. And so what happened, Kenny Jackett, true story. The kit man at Watford used to live not far from my mum's, and so Kenny Jackett said what they were going to do, they was going to let me move back home and then travel in each day with the kit man. And I was so excited. I was thinking, right, I'm going to get to move back home. And so I went home for Christmas. And so what they do as a scholar or as an apprentice, you get a week off at Christmas, you go home. So I went back home for Christmas, but then Kenny Jackett changed his mind. He said, oh, we're not going to do it. You're going to come back into digs. And so I remember the day I was meant to go back, I didn't turn up. I had my bags packed and I didn't go back. And I quit for a moment. And I remember my brothers and sisters saying, what are you doing? Oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm not going back. And I end up going back. I got disciplined. I had to humble myself. Okay, I had to start listening to instructions again, obeying instructions. I had to persevere. Okay, I had to really dig in and work hard and persevere and get back on track. And when I did that, as I said before, I made my debut in Watford as a scholar, and then I kind of knew, I didn't know 100%, I had a bit of an idea, okay, that I was going to get a professional contract, which I got my professional contract. And then I came back for pre-season, and what had happened, Kenny Jackett, who was my youth team coach, he got promoted from being youth team coach to being the assistant manager. They took me on tour with the first team. So I remember I was kind of like the skivvy for all the pros, carrying all the boots. But what Kenny Jackett wanted to do, he wanted to keep me in that environment around the pros. So remember, it matters where you're around, it matters what you're looking at, what you're listening to. And what Kenny wanted to do, he wanted to put me in the environment so I could be amongst the pros. Because I know that Kenny believed that, you know what, Bruce has got a chance. And so I'd worked hard. You know, I'd listened to the instructions. I'd persevered. I really did. I persevered when those times I wanted to give up. Those times when I was homesick. Those times when I just wanted to go home and be with my mum and see my mum and my friends. Those times of being away at Christmas when everyone's eating their Christmas dinner. Okay, and I've got to travel and I'm away in a hotel. All those things I had to deal with and wrestle with. Okay, but it was worth it, because in that first professional season of mine, I got given one opportunity. At the beginning of the season, a player got injured. They threw me in. I played, I think it would have been 33 consecutive games in a row. And from them playing in those games, I started to get quite a lot of press, media attention, and there were a few things floating around in the newspapers. And I remember one thing in particular, Barry Fry, who was the Birmingham City manager at the time, he made a statement in the News of the World I'll never forget. He said, if I had £1 million, I would sign the boy Dyer. And so I remember that season I was playing up front with Paul Furlong. I played against Crystal Palace. I played really well. I had a really good game. And then I signed for Crystal Palace it would have been in March 1994, which that is when I became the first teenager to be sold for over £1 million when I was 18. And that is something that can never ever be taken from me. It's something I'm really, really proud of. But I can truly say that the things I've spoken about tonight, and there's another thing that I'm going to touch on, I had to apply. I had to choose. I had to change my friends. I had to move from the area that I was in. I had to listen to my role model and my coach, Kenny Jackett. I had to work really, really hard. Again, and this is the truth. It's the truth. There were lots of players that were fitter than me. There were lots of players that I believe had more talent than me, but they didn't have my mentality. And so it is important. Listen, this is how I operate, guys. Those who know me, they know me. If there is one person that listens to this, I ain't never about numbers. Listen, I wish thousands of people listened to it. But if there is one person that gets something out of this, that it contributes to them succeeding in life, mission accomplished for me. That's how I think. Because I can never forget Kenny Jackett. One manager invested in one person called Bruce Dyer, and gave me some great keys for life and great encouragement that I applied, okay, and it paved the way for me to become a history maker. But, and I say but, okay, because it was not just me, and this is my last key, okay, it was not just me, okay, understanding how important teamwork is. I had to understand how important teamwork is. You've seen those goals that I scored at the beginning of this video. I've just showed you the Crystal Palace goals. If you notice within that, my team players gave me the ball. Okay, I had players putting in crosses. I had players slipping me through for me to run on and to score. Okay, I have learnt the importance of teamwork in my life. And the word team, T stands for together. T stands for together. E stands for everyone. A stands for achieve. And M stands for more. Listen, together, everyone achieves more. I achieved not just because of Kenny Jackett. I did not just achieve because of myself. I had some good players around me, okay, some good people that contributed and helped me become a better player. And I've learned, listen, that I tell kids this all the time. There is no such word as I in team. Teamwork. And the proof of that was when Germany played Argentina in the World Cup finals a few years back. When Lionel Messi, the world's greatest player that he is, such a phenomenal player, okay, but one player could not do it for the team. Teamwork makes the dream work. Listen, guys, teamwork. It's important. And just for a young person that might be watching, I'm telling you this now, as a coach myself now, and as a mentor now, I look for kids and I look for people that understand teamwork. I look out for people that understand the power of teamwork. I look out for kids that pass and look out for other players that they're not just about themselves. Me personally, I look at those things. Those things are important to me. It's important. It is important to understand, because listen, in life, okay, you will achieve more when you learn to work with people. You will achieve more when you learn to work with people. And so I'll never forget. So I signed for Crystal Palace in March 1994. It would have been April. So March 1994, and I got to Palace. I was a young boy, and I must say, when I got there, I could see the team spirit. You know, team spirit. They were a young team. Okay, they were a young team, but a young team that played so well together. I mean, it was phenomenal. And those that know Crystal Palace, okay, over the years, Crystal Palace have always been known for bringing young players through. But when I arrived at Crystal Palace in March 1994, the team spirit, the team unity, the teamwork spoke for itself. That's facts. That's facts. And so I signed there in March 1994, and in April, which would have been the following month, we got crowned champions. And I knew the following season, okay, that I was going to Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool, all of those big teams. I mean, my life just got turned upside down in the space of 3 months. And so it would have been in March 1994, I signed for Crystal Palace. The following month, which would have been April, we got crowned champions, so I knew that I was going to be in the Premier League the following season. The following month after that, I got picked for the England under-21s. Went to the Toulon tournament, the tournament that we won. Okay, I finished top goal scorer. All of that happened in the space of 3 months. And all of that happened, okay, because of the 7 things I spoke about, okay, that I had to remove myself from the wrong environments and the wrong friends. Okay, I had to do this. It's as easy as ABC, avoid bad company. I had to choose to avoid bad company. I had to choose and get some new friends and put myself in a new environment. I had the opportunity, okay? I had an opportunity to be coached and mentored by a really good coach that I listened to, like I obeyed his instructions. I made a conscious decision to learn and to become educated and get some information about football. And when I was around certain environments, I took on board instructions, okay, and I listened and I worked extremely hard and I persevered. Listen, those who know me now, I'm a grafter. Okay, I persevere, and I understand and I understood teamwork. Okay, I respected my teammates. I respected, from the goalkeeper to the defenders to the midfielder to my fellow attacking centre forward player. I respected my team players, and I understood how important it is to work as a team. And because of that, I sit here today as a history maker in England, becoming the first teenager to be sold for over £1 million when I was 18, because I applied these 7 things in my life. And listen, I believe, and I'm not just saying it, those 7 things changed my world. Okay, those 7 things changed my world. Those 7 things I still strive to apply in my life now. I have mentors in my life now. Okay, I acquire knowledge now. Okay, I work hard. Okay, some people say to me, I don't know how you do what you do. You need to slow. I'm a worker. I have to persevere. Honestly, listen, 2020 with this COVID-19, I've had to persevere. Okay, teamwork. Okay, the club at Grimethorpe, okay, the volunteers, the parents, the coaches, okay, my elite academy, okay, the staff that are in schools doing stuff for our company and our organisation, okay, being a pastor of a church, okay, I have had to learn to work with people. I could never do what I do now if I didn't understand teamwork. I would never be able to do it. And so these are things that I still apply to my life now. And those 7 things, okay, have enabled me to get rewards like this, my England cap. You know, this means so much to me, okay. I have an England under-21s cap. Look at that. Okay, my England, look at that. Okay, that is so cool. Okay, and these things mean, so some of you have seen these already, some of you haven't, okay. And so this is my England cap. Okay, those 7 things, okay, were key that paved the way, okay, that changed my world, that enabled me to say, do you know what, I represented my country at England under 21s level, okay, I played in the Toulon tournament, which we won, okay, I finished top goal scorer, and this means a lot to me. So that's my England cap. Whoa, okay. This is me. Stevie G shirt. Okay, that's a good one. Okay, I've not got this frame, so whenever I do this talk, I always show. So this is my Steven Gerrard shirt. When I was at Watford, we played Liverpool in the quarterfinals of the cup. We lost 2-1, and Stevie G was kind enough to give me a shirt. And this means a lot to me because you're never going to see Stevie G in a Liverpool shirt. Number 8, okay, and I've got one. That is really good. That's my Steven Gerrard shirt. Okay, this is my David Beckham shirt. Okay, this is a Real Madrid David Beckham shirt. You can see it signed to Bruce. Okay, I always tell this story. Okay, this is a true story. Okay, those who know me from when my younger days. Okay, I used to play for a team called Grasshoppers, and David Beckham used to play for Ridgeway Rovers. Okay, East London teams, and we were rival teams, and we used to battle it out. My memory of David Beckham when he was young, he was a crybaby. David used to cry when he used to lose. Those who know from the ends know that that's true. But no, all jokes aside, he was super passionate. He was super passionate. And I always use David as part of my talk in this sense. In my humble opinion, I don't believe David Beckham's a Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo. Okay, but what David did over the years from a kid. Okay, those who know David from Ridgeway Rovers, when we were kids, honestly, his strong points were free kicks and crosses, just like he was as a player. And what David did, he worked extremely hard, okay, at his crosses, his set pieces. And those who know David, he's extremely fit, and he has had an absolute phenomenal career, okay, and he's good looking, he's got the full package, and listen, he's made the most of what he was blessed with, and I've got so much respect for him for that. And so these are, you know, the rewards, because listen, not just in football, kids, or for anyone who's watching, there are rewards in life when we apply things in life. We apply hard work, we apply perseverance, if we're committed, if we understand how to work with people, if we treat people right, if we do the right things, okay, if we avoid certain people, okay, if we watch and listen to the right things, if we acquire knowledge and information, listen, rewards will come. They speak. Listen, it speaks for itself. I am a living witness. And so I've played, okay, so those of you that kind of know a little bit about my background and have heard my story, I've played probably 400, I think, in 68 games, and I've scored 119 goals in my career. And I would like to say I've had a half decent career, but what I would say this, and I really mean this, and I was speaking to my son about this, I was talking to my son Josiah about this yesterday, and I said, Josiah, you know, we talk about these 7 things, these 7 keys that changed my world. Well, there was a time in my career where I kind of slipped off track. There was a time in my career where, again, I started to hang around with the wrong people. There was a time in my career when I was watching and listening to the wrong things and listening to the wrong voices. And I believe with all of my heart, okay, it actually had an impact for me getting to the top. I really believe that. And I was talking to my son Josiah, and I was telling him about how important it is to be consistent. To be consistent with these things. And it is a challenge to stay focused all the time. But the greatest and the best, okay, they stay focused. Okay, they don't sway to the right or to the left. And I look back, it would have been in 1998 when Palace were promoted to the Premier League. I started off that season doing really well. I got injured. I injured my ankle. And within that time of me being injured, I started to DJ. I started to play music. I started to go on the club scene in London. And it had a detrimental impact on my career. And I regret it. I look back at that was a really crucial time for me. And it had an impact. And I believe it cost me getting to the top. And it's a lesson, a painful one, that I've had to live with. Okay, although I've achieved, although I've done some great things, I do believe possibly I could have done that bit more. And this is why I want to give someone this information. This is why I speak to my own kids and all the kids I work with, the stuff I do in schools. I try and relay to people, stay consistent. And I give these 7 things that changed my world, hoping that by God's grace that these words can be wisdom that could help change someone else as well. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to show some Barnsley footage, and then I'm going to wrap up the night. And so where's my Barnsley goals? Here we go.
Unique. Thank you for this beat right here. Yeah, do you know he is the bridge? P33, he is the bridge. 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 Check it. Look, if he's the bridge, then let him take it over. Don't get it twisted like bodies doing yoga. Relax your mind like a chillin' on a sofa. In case you forgot, the microphone is Nova. You know that bridge over troubled water. He laid down his life for every son and daughter. There's no need for me to mind the gap, cause he is the bridge that takes me over that. They ask, how can we cross to the mainstream? And throughout your album, your faith is your main theme. I simply say, yo, in God I trust. He is the bridge that brings them over to us. This bridge here ain't falling down, falling down, falling down. This bridge here ain't falling down. I ain't crazy. Yeah, if he's the bridge, then let him take you over. If he's the bridge, then let him take you over. If he's the bridge, then let him take you over. If you know that he is the bridge, say he is the bridge. 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 If he's the bridge, then let him take you over. This ain't a joke, this bloke ain't a joker. Don't play yourself like cards played in poker. We're without prices like coca without a cola. You know that bridge over troubled water. The one taken like a lamb to the slaughter. Music mans might say this rap is whack. To be quite frank, I ain't got a problem with that. This ain't your normal religious music. The one I pack like a gap, that is full clip. The booth and the stage up on my pulpit. The world is my pew, yo, let us do this. This bridge here ain't falling down, falling down, falling down. This bridge here ain't falling down. I ain't crazy. Yeah, if he's the bridge, then let him take you over. If he's the bridge, then let him take you over. If he's the bridge, then let him take you over. If you know that he is the bridge, say he is the bridge. 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 If he's the bridge, then let him take you over. Over troubled water that seeks to choke you. What I speak is truth, therefore I hope you walk over with faith fixed on Jehovah. You know that bridge over troubled water. I walk with him, therefore my steps are ordered. I've got a real testimony to back that before, like Simon G say any man can chat. They say that gospel music is corny. Can you talk about something else? Please don't bore me. Can you talk about like how you get horny? That's been overdone already, like surely. This bridge here ain't falling down, falling down, falling down. This bridge here ain't falling down. I ain't crazy. Yeah, if he's the bridge, then let him take you over. If he's the bridge, then let him take you over. If he's the bridge, then let him take you over. If you know that he is the bridge, say he is the bridge. 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 This bridge here ain't falling down, falling down, falling down. This bridge here ain't falling down. I ain't crazy. This bridge here ain't falling down, falling down, falling down.
Okay, guys. And so, if you have any questions, I'm going to give it a few moments. Anyone wants to ask me a question, just pop one in the chat box and I will answer it. If not, I'm going to wrap up. So I'm going to give it a minute. If there's anyone that's got a question, okay, it might be even at a later date, someone might watch this and then leave a question. I'll come back and answer it another time. I'm going to give it literally a couple of minutes because there's a bit of a delay on when you video on Facebook, and so I'm just going to give it a couple of minutes. If there's anyone with any questions, if not, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for listening. Okay, and again, these are just 7 things that have changed my world. Okay, changed my world. Choosing the right company, choosing the right friends, putting yourself in the right environment, watching, listening to the right things. Okay, finding good role models, listening to your coaches, listening to your teachers, okay, listening to your parents, your mums and dads, okay, obeying instructions, okay, not just getting information, but the importance of listening and applying what you've been taught, okay, getting knowledge, okay, education's important, okay, your school, your education, okay, your education in getting football knowledge, and not just football knowledge, whatever you choose to do in life is important. Okay, you've got to work hard, you've got to be prepared to work hard. If you don't work hard, okay, you're never going to be the best you, and you're going to have to persevere, because in life there are moments when life can be absolutely difficult and life can chuck you some stuff, and you've got to learn how to persevere and really dig in, okay, and understanding, okay, the importance of working with people. Teamwork makes the dream work. There's no such word as I in team. I don't know anybody that's succeeded on their own. Look, I don't care who you are, you need somebody. You need somebody. No one just achieves on their own. Okay, nobody, impossible, nobody. And I say that if there's someone saying, oh yes they can, no you didn't, because when you was a baby your parents put nappies on you, they fed you, they clothed you, and so they contributed, they help you in life. Okay, we all need help from somebody. So understanding the power of teamwork makes the dream work. And so once again, thank you to the Violence Reduction Unit that's enabling me to put on these webinars. Okay, much appreciated. Okay, thank you to those that have watched this, those that may watch this at a later date. Okay, listen, as I said while I was talking earlier, if this helps one person, mission accomplished to me. Okay, one person, one person in Bruce Dyer became a history maker. One person in Bruce Dyer is able to do this. Okay, so one person can contribute in a powerful way, and I'm so grateful to God that I've been able to do this. And so let me just double check. I think someone just sent me a message. No, great stuff. Well, guys, thank you once again for taking the time to log on. Take care. God bless you all. The best, and let's love life again. Take care.